Evening, brothers and ladies. You know, what is this kind of pseudo obsession with our fellow UK black community culture and the Jamaican way of life, and indeed Jamaican culture? Let me explain. Speaking with a good Jamaican friend of mine, and we actually agreed on this point, key point. It's like there's a strange, weird obsession with Jamaica and its culture, and not just the Nubians over here, our Nubian brethren, but mainstream as well. Caucasian folk, be it middle class, working class, across the board, there's this fixation, that's the word, fixation with Jamaican culture. I mean, wasn't there a documentary a little while ago where we had older Caucasian women going to Jamaica to find romance and love and lust with the Jamaican brother? And not just any Jamaican brother, because there's plenty of Jamaican brothers over here, as well as British Jamaicans, as we know. But the proper, coarse, rough, proper, what is it? Natty bungle, proper, so, not Rasta, because they're honourable, and no, not them. But the proper, the strays, they'll dumpster dive, quote, to the bottom of the barrel of Jamaican culture to find that man. Many reasons why we do this. That's not the focus of the topic. The topic here is, simply put, what is this obsession? I mean, English language now has to incorporate Jamaican patois. Come on. You know, it is what it is. You know? But why Jamaica? Why not? You know, I'm sure there's other cultures out here. You know what I mean? Eastern European, Polish. In fact, what about those cultures? What about those cultures that actually, and this is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets interesting. Why not a fixation with Chinese culture? After all, Chinese are looked upon as the more intelligent and superior being, is it not? Intellectually, do people, another conversation for another time, but is it not that Chinese and Asian choose any diaspora, choose any culture and country from the Asian demographic, as it's a broad term? But wasn't there a fixation there? Wasn't there such a fixation on Chinese and Chinese hieroglyphics and things like that? You know, the Jamaican culture for some reason is dominant. As my friend pointed out, why? We're a very small culture. In fact, as I said, when you look at it, yeah, let's be real here, and I'm going to give a shout out to my Jamaican brothers here. Jamaican culture and Jamaican men, yeah, basically keep themselves to themselves. You know, this whole thing in the media about Jamaican bad man, Jamaican this, Jamaican that. That's a tiny minority of the population. In fact, let's take it further, okay? For the most part, we actually see a clique of Jamaican men and people. They're not normally in clusters in like shops, you know, which is meant to be a positive thing. So they've got their shops, be it Tottenham, Harlesden, wherever you want to say, getting themselves to themselves, playing their music, and they don't bother anybody. In fact, you got to go to them, and that's a big difference. So if a woman decides to date a certain man like that, and let's say it goes wrong for argument's sake, technically speaking, she put him there. She put herself there. Because ultimately, yeah, they keep themselves to themselves. So they cut hair, do their thing, make their money, mind their business. But it seems people seem to be obsessed with them. And that's what the conversation's about. They're tiny. I'm talking Jamaican, proper Jamaican people now, not British born. Get themselves to themselves. You don't hear anything from them. If it's a crime, which is in the papers have probably boosted it up because all races do crime against each other. And again, that would be a minority of a minority doing a crime. So make it make sense. And it's not like there's a spate of them happening with Jamaican-born people. There isn't. If anything, there isn't any. But they seem to carry the can when a black British person commits a crime. Think about that. It's a very poignant point. Think about that point. Whenever something kicks off, something happens, Jamaicans get the blame, or they get the label. Okay? We all know this song. I'm not going to go there. But it's true. Like, hold on a minute, mate. That's nothing to do with me. So if an English person robs a bank, we're going to blame Scotland. You know? Sound off key like those people, you know, a Caucasian male kills Charlie Kirk, so boy, white man, unite and fight. Let's go and get Blackie. Make it make sense. But anyway, that's a digression. So basically, what we have is Jamaican culture carrying a can for British activities. So when these politicians come out and say, okay, we're going to reduce migration, and, you know, people moving from Jamaica to England or Britain or whatever, that's a misnomer. Because if anything, in reality is, they're not doing anything. In fact, you'll probably find more crime, not just a borough in the UK, but some, you know, an estate. You know, on any sink estate, you find more crime and drama than has been in probably any British-born Jamaicans tenure living in the UK over the last year or so, and that's fact. So, you know, there we have it. You know, everything has this, you know, stereotype, and even black British folk stereotype Jamaicans. Everybody stereotypes Jamaicans as the bad man, and really, you know, like I said, there's bad people everywhere. Just that if you violate, that's what occurs. But anyhow, point made. We have to be a part 2, but here's what it is. Laters.